Hey guys, today I just wanted to share my health update regarding my thyroid cancer and then also to share a couple other kind of major-ish health things that are going on. A couple of you have asked in the comments, just wondering kind of how I was doing since my last update. It just made me realize that I hadn't kind of finished my story as far as what has been happening with my cancer. Just to kind of recap, in April of 2014 I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and a couple days later I ended up having a surgery to remove my entire thyroid to get rid of the cancer. They originally thought that it was just on one side, ended up being a little bit like microscopically on the other side as well. So I was in the gray area as far as if I needed to take the radioactive iodine treatment afterwards, and because there are a lot of side effects to it, I chose not to do that, which maybe I should have, but I didn't. Then a couple years later, I kind of felt like I was getting some symptoms. I had a ultrasound and it showed that I had a growth, but my doctor just kind of wanted to wait and watch it. We did that for a couple years just to see if it was even growing. It didn't seem like that, and there was some controversy whether it was just a shadow or an actual growth. It wasn't until I kind of pushed to just go ahead and have the treatment regardless that she ended up giving me a CAT scan, and this was now like 2 years later, so now we're talking 2018, that we did a CAT scan and they did find some cancer, and so I did get a radioactive iodine treatment. With that treatment, they can just kind of look on another CAT scan to see that it appears to kind of be working, but you don't really get it's not really a cancer-free, it's no evidence of cancer for this kind of cancer, or maybe all cancer, I don't know, but at least that's what they told me. You're never like cancer-free, you're no evidence of cancer. The next year, 2019, I had that no evidence of cancer. Everything was looking great, but then I started getting like weird things happening in my neck that made me feel like maybe something might be coming back, because I just never had these feelings. It was just like when I would swallow and I'd like kind of have my hand down, I felt like it was like a hard swallow, and when I would turn like this, I couldn't really breathe. And you could feel like that my neck was a little bit swollen. So, kind of made, since I had thyroid cancer, it was a little bit more alarming. I was gonna have an appointment to check to see if there was anything growing, but then COVID hit, and it was deemed not a urgent, I guess, enough appointment that they wouldn't see me for a while at Kaiser. I waited and just wondered, and my throat, it just seemed to kind of be getting worse. When you have thyroid cancer, you get like a cough. It's not like a cough like you got a cold, but it's like this little like tickle in your throat kind of cough. I don't know how to explain it, but if you've had it, you know. And I was getting that, and it just kept getting kind of worse. So finally things kind of opened up a little bit. I ended up having it's basically like a blood test and an ultrasound for them to like kind of give the initial check, and it's like a thyroid panel, not just your TSH. They did that test and everything came out great. So I was like, awesome. They just thought that maybe because of like the cough or just like allergies or whatnot, that's maybe why my throat was like having pain in there. Everything was good. I mean, I believe the numbers, and seeing the scan, there was like nothing, it was all clear. That was awesome. Hopefully my cancer journey has ended and I am cancer free for good, but I do have a very highly recurring cancer, so I will continue to get checked. It'll be for a while every year. It was every 6 months. Now I believe I'm on the every year plan where I go get an ultrasound and I get a panel done of my thyroid hormones. Pretty soon then I'll be on the every other year, and then maybe every 5 years. I don't know how that works, but anyway, so that's that. My other thing is, you probably noticed that I'm wearing braces. That's kind of a weird story, so I'll just try to make it short, and then for those that are interested, I could do a separate video about my journey on this. But basically I went into a specialist dentist because I had a tooth in my front that keeps kind of crumbling. I have really bad, like I don't have the right amount of enamel, so my teeth easily have issues, and I've had it filled a couple times. So I was like, should I get a veneer or a cap over it? Like, it's kind of major, it's in the front. I wanted to do the right thing, and the dentist said, do you want me to just give you opinion on what you are here for, or do you want like the full analysis of your mouth while you're here? Of course I'm going to take free advice from a specialist, so I was like, go ahead and give me the full analysis. I would be curious to know, what you're thinking. And so apparently she is a specialist in sleep apnea, and she started asking me questions, kind of making measurements in my mouth, asking if I had migraines, if I felt refreshed when I woke up in the morning, if I had any kind of brain fog, if I snored, things like that. And I thought that was kind of strange, but what she ended up saying is she felt that I had sleep apnea and that I should go get it medically tested if I did, and that just based on the anatomy of my mouth and what she sees, that my tongue doesn't have enough room in there, and so it's kind of going back in my throat and choking me, especially when I lay back for bed. And also, since I've been aging, the palate or something like that back there is a lot more soft and it just rests more. It gets worse with age. This might be something that could be life-changing as far as being able to breathe properly, swallow properly, and just live a more like, not having migraines, not having all the brain fog and stuff. When I was in my 20s, I saw a dentist and then a specialist and they had kind of said the same thing. They didn't say anything about sleep apnea, but they had told me that as I aged, my mouth was probably going to get worse and that I should get this double jaw surgery. But that's not, at 20 years old, I was like 23, like that, 24, and that sounded really scary, and I didn't have all the migraines back then. I didn't have any, I was like perfectly healthy, or so I felt. Kind of ignored it and forgot about it. And then when she said this, it kind of made sense, and I really didn't think I had sleep apnea. Like, I don't ever think I snored. I thought people that had sleep apnea like were like really loud snorers. They woke up, they woke up other people, and I wasn't like that, or so I thought. I ended up getting a sleep apnea test. The home test was kind of inconclusive, and so I had to go into the lab, or to the sleep study lab, and basically sleep overnight, and got my test. And there's like however many episodes you are, is like, I think it's like if you have 15, you know, you're mild. If you have 20 or something, like you're moderate. If you have 30, you're high risk or whatever, and you're supposed to like get the machine thing to help you breathe and whatnot. Well, apparently I was 67 episodes per hour, and then to make it even worse, it's like you have different cycles of sleep, and people like usually have the episodes during various sleep times, and mine was all like in the REM sleep, and so it was just in your deepest sleep is when you need to get that sleep, and I had 67 in an hour, so it was bad, I guess. And so they were saying, you know, you really do need the surgery. Anyway, I started looking more seriously into the surgery. I followed a bunch of Facebook groups to kind of learn how it helped other people, like personally, like not just a doctor saying like, oh, it's better for you. And it seemed like a lot of people, I guess your windpipe would open up inches from this surgery, from just moving your anatomy. It moves both jaws forward and gives more room back for you to breathe and for your tongue to be in your mouth and to like rest properly. I don't shut my mouth. I can't really close my mouth when I sleep, just because like I have to actively like close it. I can't just let it rest and go into the sleep position. So I guess that's like a whole nother video if anyone's interested in the jaw surgery journey that I will be taking. But that's why I have braces, and that will be coming up. I have a surgery tentatively in the next 6 months or less, depending if COVID might change that or other things, but that's what is in the works now. And then the last thing is, to me, not as major, but still a big deal. And that was just, I had a health panel taken where they take like your cholesterol, your triglycerides, stuff like that. And my triglycerides were really high, and my HDL cholesterol was low, which you want that number to be kind of high. And so basically that was just putting me at higher risk for strokes. And my biological parents both passed away when they were in their 60s, low 60s, young 60s. My grandma had a couple strokes, and other family members. It kind of was a bigger deal to me to kind of have that. It kind of hit a little harder, and I just decided, you know, I want to do things so that I can grow to be old and be with my kids and just live a healthier life. And so it was just a big why for me to kind of catapult my weight loss journey. Partially, I was a little motivated because I thought, you know, I should lose some weight before I have surgery just so I heal better and I'm not like prone to having any issues. But then this big why of, they say you need like a why to make change, and it's, I want to be there for my kids. I want to grow old with them. And so now on a weight loss journey, it's been just a month and a half. I've lost almost 10 pounds. And if you want videos on that, I can do that. I weighed, when I started the journey, 190. It's the biggest I've ever been in my life. I grew up pretty skinny, but after having kids and thyroid issues, I kind of rested around 175. But then after I did my radioactive iodine treatment, I could either do a shot or thyroid pills, and basically you gain a lot of weight when you do that. I didn't realize so much. I gained 30 pounds in like a month. Just because I had no metabolism, essentially, because my TSH went into, it was like in the 90s, but that was like part way through, so I assumed that it would go into the hundreds. I don't know that for sure, but my test was like, it was somewhere like 75 to 95 for my TSH before I had my test, and then I had to continue being off my medication for another couple weeks. So now I'm on this weight loss journey. I am hoping to go back into the normal range because I'm considered obese, and I just want to get healthy. I want to eat healthy, feel healthy, and just get back into better shape. And it would be nice to be able to like live past my 60s. So anyway, so thank you so much for listening to my health journey. Comment below if you want me to make any videos as far as like the weight loss journey and how I'm losing weight, because trust me, I've been trying to lose weight for about 3 months, not as proactively, but somewhat. I was just trying to eat better and do some exercise, and it wasn't coming off until I got a little bit more serious and implemented a system, and then now it's just been coming off. So I'm losing about 2 to 3 pounds a week. Hopefully that'll continue for a while until I get back to the normal range. Anyway, thank you so much for listening this long. I know this is kind of long-winded. I tried to talk a little fast, so go quick. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.